Welcome back to the Aftermath Show. It's always Kamuka Pai, the insurance guy. Today we have a very special guest in the studio who's going to talk about numbers. He will introduce himself and so you learn something from him, one or two things. Today's guest is called John Gorowa. He's the CFO of Old Mutual Investment Group, and he has come to the studio to talk to us about Old Mutual and entirely about his position. So, John Gorowa, you're most welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
How have you been?
I've been good. How are you?
I'm okay.
But
you had man to get, man. I had to make like sales appointments to get you.
We've been investing your money, sir. Okay. So most times we're caught up.
Okay.
But today I had to show up for the insurance guy.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely.
I appreciate it.
I couldn't miss this opportunity.
That's nice.
Yes, I'm glad to be on that show.
Now, as we start the show, tell us about yourself beyond your title as the CFO of Old Mutual.
All right.
Who is John Gorowa?
That's always an interesting question. So first, mostly I'm a big rugby fan. Wow. outside numbers. You know, most times guys think it's all about numbers every single day, but we also chill, so watch rugby. Big Impis fan.
You're from Makerere?
Yes.
Okay.
Just close to Makerere. I played at Impis, played at Cobs, and it's been quite an interesting thing. So outside this, rugby. And then another shocker that most times when I talk about it, people get surprised. My Sundays are always dedicated to the Lord, so I actively serve in church every Sunday. So you can't find me anywhere on a Sunday.
Church.
I render the whole day to God.
Okay.
Yeah. So most times when I tell guys, they're like, "What? What do you mean on a Sunday? The whole day? You mean morning to evening?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I think those are the two basic things I can highlight.
That's nice. So tell us about your journey. Your journey as a CFO for Old Mutual.
All right.
You have been in this company for quite some time.
Yes.
I feel like Old Mutual. You're an old guy. I think the ranks.
Yeah.
So that's where you started from Old Mutual.
Yeah.
And now we are right now.
Okay. That's quite an interesting journey. So I joined. I won't quote the years. People might start calculating my age. So to avoid any such, I won't quote the years. But my journey in Old Mutual, I came when I was a young man. At entry level, I actually entered as an accounts assistant at that point. And from that beginning point, I was under the general insurance business. And in there, literally, I grew curious around insurance and the benefits. And I started seeing that my personal beliefs and objectives were kind of aligned with UAP. Those days we used to be called UAP before Old Mutual. And then later on, the rebrand came through. So I did about 3 to 3.5 years in the general insurance business. And of course, in there, that's how I fell in love with numbers to do with insurance specifically. Grew through the ranks. By the time I left general insurance, I think I was close to
CFO.
It wasn't yet CFO level, but I was somewhere in line manager kind of, because I was heading doing the reporting accountant at that point. And of course in there I dealt with medical. So you get to see what people care about. And that's how I fell in love with a lot of benefits that grow people. Because when you deal with the likes of medical, you're dealing with people and customers. And you're like, okay, people are actually, there's impact. So I started seeing myself as an impactful person. And then, of course, later moved to the life business. That's now in there I entered at a senior position.
You worked in life?
Yes, I was also in the life. I've worked for all the brands of Old Mutual, actually all the businesses. Because also when I was still in the general insurance, I also did the properties business. I used to do reporting for the properties business and medical and general insurance. So there I already covered those three businesses. Then of course there was a few issues our life business was having. So we came as the cleanup team. Around 2018, was sent to life, and to me as a person, that was a changing moment, because one, we were about to deal with an issue that had never been seen in the business because for the first time we had what we call qualified accounts.
Yeah, I remember.
In accounting terms, that is the worst thing. And most times when that happens to you as the head of finance, you can't keep your job. So definitely there was a shift, and the team that was there left. So we came as young chaps, Machuba, to come and clean up the finance department. And of course it was risky because these were senior positions. And I remember that time our CFO who was there asked us, he asked me simple questions like, you could stay where you are, where you're comfortable, you're sure of these your things, or you go to life and explore a new challenge. So I was like, I'm still young, what do I have to lose? If it all fails, I look for the next thing. So we went there, and then the thing went well, did quite well in the life business. So that was quite encouraging, and then I started building my confidence because in there I started interacting with the board. Actually, my board interaction started a lot in the life business. And then so in the group I was known for problem solving where there's an issue. So when I was in the life business, I wasn't yet CFO. I was at literally around chief accountant or senior accountant at that point. So then again, trouble in the group came up, and this time it was in the asset management business. They were like, who can we bring to clean up that business? So the MD that time reached out. We had a discussion, and he's like, I believe where you've reached, you should be running a department of your own.
Or was that MD of asset management?
Anyway, it was Simon.
Simon, okay.
It was the time of Simon. So he was having trouble with financials. He was he had lost some few businesses because of financials. So he was like, my guy, I think you can lock this down and also drive the strategy for me. And that's how I moved to asset management. Okay. And I remember when I came to asset management, in terms of numbers, our FUM I think was just 600 billion.
Only.
Exactly. Well, by now we are talking about 4.8.
We should talk about that 4.8.
I don't want to get ahead of myself. So that's how I ended in asset management. And now when I came to asset management, I didn't want to look back on life insurance, GI. I loved working with them, but not directly being involved. And of course, even when I came on this other side, I came as a finance manager, then finally became the CFO of asset management. So in brief, that's the journey literally in the group. But yes, all the old mutual companies I've actually worked for all of them. Yes.
I know you did a very good job at life. I was in life by then, and we were struggling a little bit. But when you came through, things turned around. Thanks to you.
Thank you, sir. Those are the things I want to hear. Now I can demand for a pay increment.
You talked about the asset management, Old Mutual Investment Group. And we understand Old Mutual is in the financial industry, So how has Old Mutual become a powerhouse in the financial sector with their product of unit trust fund? How will it become a powerhouse? Okay, speaking to the growth of the 4.8 trillion shillings right now, as speak, yes.
So how Old Mutual has become a powerhouse? You know, for the longest of time, good enough Old Mutual, we are part of a group. So every time we'd interact with our brothers in Kenya, they would say, Ugandans, it's all about party. They never save for tomorrow. And I remember also in my past, I worked for an Indian company for a few months. And that's what they knew us. That for us, we are about party, living the life. Tomorrow we take care of itself. And but when I took off time, I tried to research and understand where that came from. And of course, it came through from the political instabilities that we used to have. When you have a chat with most of the old people, they'll tell you today, you're not sure where you're going to sleep the next day. So most people used to live in the moment. There was nothing like planning for tomorrow because you're not sure. Today, you're running, what. So that did affect our investment background as Ugandans. So what the unit trust has done is to try and bring back and change that reputation. And of course, you know, one of the things we have benefited most is the testament coming from different people who have actually benefited. So we are not selling a product that people can't easily relate, because these days out of the 10 people you talk to, at least 5 people
know about the trust fund,
know about the unit trust, and they are benefited.
Know about Old Mutual.
Exactly, know about you. Actually, when you talk about unit trust. For them, they think
Mutual.
Old Mutual is their only place. Of course, back then they would just be like UAP. You get that.
Yeah.
But how we tried was we noticed the most concerned people were the people who are retiring. And you know, those are the guys at that time that had a lot of money. So people would retire and try to run into businesses, start a business they have never done. And you know, our young people in Kampala, when they see Mzee trying to start a business, they're like, this is the person. So many guys were being robbed. So now when we come with a proposition where we are like, if you've been earning your 10 million and you've received your NSSF, exactly, whatever it is, you can put it in Old Mutual. You don't have to supervise that young man. You don't have to call anyone. But with a brand as Old Mutual, you have transparency on your portal. You get the statements. You can visit us and ask questions. There are agents who are helping out. You know, so you have literally full-time service all to yourself. That to even an extent, you don't have to leave home. You don't have to step out of the bed. Guys were like, at first, I remember there's a gentleman I talked to was like, this sounds like a Ponzi scheme. You mean I sleep, wake up, and I get paid? It's like, no. I'm used to going to my farm. I plow, I milk the cows, and that's how I get paid. How do you guys tell me I just give you money? I wait, and then you pay me. Told him, actually, that's how unit trust works. So many people started trusting us. And you know, the moment the parents got it, then they started talking to their kids. Be like, you need to talk to my daughter, you need to talk to my son. So that did drive us. And of course, our biggest win are also our agents. The distribution. Exactly, financial advisors, like the insurance guy. You guys are doing an amazing job. Because you know, you reach where we cannot. Even though we are building the products, if they can't be distributed and you know, well talked about on platforms like this, then the fund can't grow. So one of the biggest drivers was interesting our agents as well. That's all the financial advisors. And me, since I'd worked with general insurance and life, for some reason I had rapport of all the different financial advisors. So when they would come, I tell them, man, this thing is a real deal. And of course, when you show the value addition, and many of them also told them, you try it out. It's easier to sell a product you've actually benefited from. And this is a real-time product. You don't have to wait for it to mature or wait for an incident to happen for it to benefit. On a daily, you know how much you've made. And man, the thing took off. Then the partnerships came through. And before we knew it, me, who joined a company that had just about 600 billion, we hit the 1 trillion mark. I remember we celebrated 1 trillion. We're like, what? We can get 1 trillion shillings from Ugandans who have been known, you know, for not saving. Now guys have given us 1 trillion. So we were like, actually we can make it 1.5. Before we knew it, 2 trillion. We're like, wait, where has this money come on? And you see the beauty of that unit trust. Now it opened us to what we call the corporate business, because we were known for corporate business. We're known for unit trust, exactly, retail business, and the likes of Sanlam were known for you know, corporate business. But the moment guys saw the value we're adding, for starters, majority of the people who would be heading those pension schemes and everything were our clients. They weren't Sanlam clients, so they were like, if I'm getting this much care and value from these guys
as an individual,
if they can add value, then we started bidding. Before we knew it, we started and we surpassed even Sanlam, and that's how we became number one overall. So I remember back then when you would look at our portfolio and compare us to Sanlam, and the gap was big. It was too huge. But we started closing out. Before we knew it, we overtook the market share, and now tempos have completely changed. So the journey has been interesting.
But to add on that journey, I think that distribution team of the agency was very, very impactful.
Definitely,
it was massive.
You
guys came to us all the time. Please sell these things, sell these things. Like,
definitely,
things don't work.
And you guys first chased us. You're like, what? How much? I know we used to pay. It was a hard sell. But the moment guys got the concept that actually this thing grows over time, and then I'm locked in for the long. Guys started selling, and now you are ambassadors. I mean, I'm on your
side too. You're happy, man.
And you're happy. I'm glad to hear that.
Now, so right now, how big is the fund, the assets under management of Old Mutual?
Right now. So our assets under management right now, we are sitting at about 4.8 trillion Uganda shillings.
Wow.
And of that, about 3.6 is completely unit trust.
Unit trust, yes.
Which is the retail. So it still continues to be the biggest. And then an excess of 1 trillion in the corporate business. And you see, when you look at us growing that corporate business to 1 trillion, man, for the longest of the time, we're stuck in 200, 300. But yeah, like I highlighted, the moment guys got the benefit on this other side, then it made sense on this other side. And then we started also being very confident to approach those big pension schemes. Be like, man, as you can see, we can also do ABCD. And the more funds they trusted us with, we kept delivering on terms of the experience, the investment returns, and then the expertise. Yes.
Okay. I think unit trust funds is a new phenomenon. Like just as you said, Ponzi scheme, chakaja, change okuyika. So what confidence do you give in the investors that it's on for the longest time, can never, you know?
What I can tell investors, one, you know, the biggest concern that we have seen for Ugandans is safety. Yeah? Because from where I come from, around somewhere, whether it's in my village or it's around where I stay, there's always that one guy who comes and tells you a story of something that looked like a circle. And then the guy switched off the phone on Christmas Eve and disappeared with the savings. They kept looking for that guy. So for some reason, I noticed that across the country, everyone had a safety issue. All Ugandans had, even me personally. I've had those weird things. I remember when we were at campus, we saved our money. Then the guy shocked us. We looked for him. To this day, I'm still waiting to recover my money. Yeah, but the assurance we try to give guys is, one, first look at the company or the advisor, or in which case we're talking about Old Mutual. So when you look at the brand Old Mutual, we have done over 180 years or even 190 years doing in this market, literally across Africa. So when it comes to safety, most times it's about the institution. Because if let's say it's a company that just started, I don't know, last year, even me, I would be skeptical. I'm like, do these guys know what they are doing? But when you talk about Old Mutual, we are backed up by, first of all, the regulator. In the market, we have done this for a long time. Then there's a backing at East Africa level. We are also in Kenya. Then also you push the group further to South Africa. So that shows you that we are not standing on our own. You get, we have covering from the different, you get different growth levels and group levels. But also, in terms of how a unit trust, to just give people comfort, is that when you give that money, we are the fund manager. We manage that money for you. But there are other stakeholders who actually participate on this. We're fund manager. There's who we call a trustee. Like on our Uganda shilling, there's Standard Chartered Bank. And for many investors, what I always ask them, can you trust money with a bank? And then I always tell them, exactly. So the same way you trust your money with that banking institution, then even us, when you give us your money, it goes to the bank, and all we do is make investment decisions because of our expertise for you to invest the money. But actually, it never comes to Old Mutual. So we can never use it to pay salaries. We can never use it to pay commissions. We can never use it to pay service providers. No, the money entirely stays with the custodian and trustee, who are banks purely. All we do is apply our expertise and be like, we think you can invest the money in there. And of course, Capital Markets Authority also gives us, you know, regulations in which to invest. So I can't wake up and start lending money to my village people, be like, guys, come and I lend you money. No, there are restrictions of where I'm allowed to invest. So with that scrutiny, of course, coming through, I think it gives people the comfort. Because if you have the regulator on board, and not just one regulator, because UBRA is also a regulator. Reason being, we are holding pensions. And you know, when it comes to pensions, you're dealing with people's future and retirement. So you can't play around and have that license without the scrutiny of such regulators. And of course, since we support a lot of money through the banking sector, even the central bank actually is interested, because when you look at our biggest portion of investments, we invest mostly in the government bonds. So it's in their interest that we are stable. Because if we wake up and be like, let's withdraw all our bonds, there would be a crisis in the country. So we have so many interested parties around us to ensure that actually we do the right thing. So in terms of safety, that's what I can share with our people.
What's the best financial advice that a person would take out there for them to invest money with Old Mutual? What would you tell them? What do they base on to make a decision to invest money with Old Mutual?
I think the best advice I would give them is one, look at someone who's reliable. Because like I've highlighted for Ugandans, biggest issue is safety.
Safety, yes.
And then ensure someone gives you competitive returns.
Yes.
Because you don't want to wake up and the market is, let's say, at 11, then I come and tell you, because I'm Old Mutual, I'm giving you 4% now. We try to do the competitive.
Yeah, true.
And then even you as a person, before you make an investment, it's okay to inquire about the investment. Yeah. So what does the market say about Old Mutual? And you see, to be very clear, like for our retail business, by the time you have over 64% market share, I'm thinking the market actually does trust you. Exactly. And then the other bit, if you're making a decision, go through a financial advisor, because
a professional.
Yes, a professional to work with you in a journey. Don't try to be too smart. Exactly, because it worked for him and he sold eggs and made so much money. Then you're like, eggs, it's the way to go. So why I would tell them to Old Mutual, we have been trusted, tried and tested in the market. We are the biggest fund manager across the board, and then we also hold the biggest market share. Actually, do you know, even in East Africa, East and Central Africa,
which is the biggest?
We have the biggest unit trust fund.
Are you sure?
And this is Old Mutual Investment Group, Uganda. So even in Kenya, we are bigger.
We're taking up everything.
Exactly. So with that comfort, you know, when you're holding, it's like how many guys know that NSSF is the biggest fund manager overall in East and Central. So even now, when it comes to unit trust, whether it's in Uganda, whether it's in Kenya, Old Mutual Investment Group Uganda is the biggest. So I think that speaks for itself.
Okay, that's great. Old Mutual is the biggest fund manager in East Africa. Can you imagine? Yeah. So guys, bring your money, we invest it for you, and they're like, but I ain't here to talk about my boy Hamza. Hamza struggled with this company. Remember Hamza?
Yes.
He was the MD of Swico.
Yeah.
He started with UAP Financial Services then. Then you guys came and, you know, started from where that stopped. He did a very good job. He's definitely the company.
Of course, when it comes to founding fathers, we always honor them. In my real life, on Sunday, we are always being taught how to honor. Because those are the founding fathers. So of course we are grateful, and I'm sure if when he looks back, he's proud of the work. You might even find out he didn't imagine that Old Mutual Investment Group will be this big. So definitely, where it started, the foundation was great, and now we are just carrying on what was built at the beginning.
Now, I think one more last question or two. Does Old Mutual only deal with unit trust funds, or the other products that Old Mutual deals with?
Now, what we have noticed is that unit trust was the entry level to the market. So, and so many times were known by the unit trust. But then we have noticed that the needs of our customers keep changing. And then also, gone are the days when their only concern was safety. So now they desire more, and those are the ever-changing needs of our customers. So when it comes to offering, we have noticed that now guys are interested in bonds, and we are a broker in that. So gone are the days when they would run to the banks, be like, guys, I need to call my bank to do this investment. Now we tell them, what, we are here. You want a bond, we help you buy it. Don't struggle. The money keeps within the ecosystem. If you're looking at diversifying in what we call stocks or equities, shares, those things, we are literally also a service provider, broker in that. So we try to ensure they are within. But of course, recently, the biggest picture has been the question that I've made so much money in Uganda. What more can you offer me in terms of returns and in terms of the investment horizon? There are clients that come to us and be like, I need to invest in Elon Musk's Tesla. I need to invest in Apple. I've overbought these Apple phones. How do I participate? And those guys pay me a return. And those are the offshore investments. So now we launched.
We do them.
Yes, we launched a product under private wealth management,
Okay, yeah.
and that's literally on top of the unit trust.
Yeah.
So some clients that we have noticed that their desires are different.
Yeah, they
Because
ask you for more.
Yes, they want more return,
Yeah.
more risk exposure,
Yeah.
more investments, whether they are outside Uganda, in the Americas, in Europe, or in different African countries. We have gotten actually that platform and opened it for them. And then the other guys, of course, kept asking, what's next? I've enjoyed the unit trust. I trust it. It's so good. The return stays at this level. I want something higher. Then we're like, no, don't run away. Now you can graduate to what we call private wealth management. And that has already been growing, actually. Right now it's in excess of 70 billion already.
Wow.
Yet we just launched it, last
Recently.
year, very, very recently. So in terms of product offering, that's what we also do. So we don't just do the unit trust. We have the brokerage arm that has the bonds and everything, and then it also has the shares. Then we have what we call private wealth management, and then also people who have bigger circles or investment groups that have grown significantly. We do what we call our corporate business, where let's say you, the insurance guy, and your company and your staff members have grown, and you're saving for retirement. We're like, yeah, we can help you actually set it up and have it also looked after with the best returns. Because even in when you look at most of the pension schemes we are running,
funds.
Yes, those provident funds, we are doing it big time. So gone are the days when all people knew about us were just the unit trust, actually, in terms of offering. And you see now we are going into other products that we call alternative investments. We are yet to launch, but we are launching this year. So anyone who's watching this, just know something new is coming up.
I think we're coming to the end of the show. But before we end, what advice would you give someone out there? Financial advice, and where do you see the future of financial sector in Uganda?
So the advice I can give the person out there, one, if you haven't invested anything, if you don't have a unit trust account, at the end of this, the moment you hear it, please reach out to the insurance guy and ensure you have an account. And then the second thing is it doesn't matter the amount. I mean, with 100K,
you can start.
You can start. So gone are the days when you want your money to first pile up. That concept never works. Before you know it will be 10 years, and still it hasn't, piled up so that you're ready for the investment. But with your 100K, and you start seeing that 1K or whatever that the amount is on a daily, you'll be encouraged and motivated to put more money, because the more money you put, the higher the return. So all I can tell the person in there, start right now investing, and Old Mutual is your most preferred and most trusted partner when it comes to the investment journey, because we understand you and we are always thinking about you literally every single day, and coming up with products that are suitable for you from the comfort of your home or where you're sitting. I think that's what I can share.
Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure having you on my show. Looking forward to have you again here. It was a nice time with you. May God bless you.
Pleasure, my man. Thanks a lot. All right.
Cool. It's been your host, Kamuga Pai. See you when you see me.